Welcome back to another episode of the Knock On podcast, brought to you by the great people at Zero Tackle. And Dan, round one has halfway kicked off. Well, 25% of the way kicked off. But the news just keeps on coming. What do you got for us?
Let's go. I've got 7 talking points, Terry. I'm keen to hear what you have to think. The first, Parramatta. They just can't have nice things, unfortunately. Mitch Moses has not only been ruled out of round one contention, but he's out indefinitely. I have 2 lines of thoughts. 1, it's bad, and 2, it's Dylan Brown's time to shine. What do you reckon?
Oh, Mitch Moses obviously hurt his back signing that contract, taking that sack of cash all the way to the bank. No, it sucks that Mitch Moses is hurt. Like, you never want to see any players get hurt, and when a star player of the game, and let's face it, Mitch Moses is a star player of the game. He's a top 5 halfback in the competition, maybe 3 on his day, right? So you never want to see anyone get hurt. You never want to see a star player miss a lot of time. Out indefinitely doesn't sound good. We saw Dylan Brown, run it, but he's going to be the man now. So this is where Newcastle, that $14 million contract's either going to look good or they're just going to turn around and go, whoa. I think you're going to get a few whoas out of this one.
Exactly right. It's terrible news, as you said. You don't want to see any player injured. Poor Parramatta. Imagine enduring an entire off-season, see Moses play a bit of the pre-season, then he's out indefinitely, which, if you know it's 4 weeks, you say it's 4 weeks. So it says to me it could be anything. Hopefully it's like a Campbell Graham thing where it could indefinitely means round one.
Yeah. That's what I'm hoping that the indefinitely means we're just going to see how it reacts to treatment. It could be 2 weeks. It could be 12 weeks. Let's just, fingers crossed it's not. We want to see Mitchell Moses back on the field sooner rather than later because, like or low with Parramatta, Mitchell Moses is a great player.
He is. There was a couple of things that were pain management, which to me says, can you tough it out? I don't know if that's the
Not in round one.
No.
Like in round 20, in round 23, if you're fighting for the finals, sure, you tough it out. But in round one, season's just started.
You don't want $1 million halfback hurting himself and being out for 12 to 14 weeks when it could have been 1 or 2.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, if he toughs it out and then makes it worse, you're like, well, he probably didn't need to tough it out, did he?
Spot on. Yeah, it sucks for Parramatta. There's no way to spin it. But for Dylan Brown, selfishly, maybe he's thinking, this is the opportunity I need. Now, of course, he won't be thinking this way. He'll be thinking, gosh darn it, I really wish I had my superstar halfback to help us win in round one. But if Brown wants that monster upgrade, as he's reported to be, this is the opportunity. Because last year we saw Nathan Cleary go out. Jerome Luai took over. Now, he'd already signed for the Tigers, but there was a little bit of is Cleary's number 2. He proved he's probably better without Cleary. Whether he can take that from Penrith to the Tigers is a whole other story. But if Brown's legit, I think he can be. He hasn't shown it yet, but he can be. These next however many weeks are his opportunity to grab it by the scruff. No one's expecting him to beat Melbourne, especially in round one. If he goes out and leads them to a real good performance, young Ronald Volkman's a good player, can do his part. It's not like Brown's playing a lone hand like he was at times last year. He can really stand up and say, that $14 million, that's a bargain. That's how good I am. It's interesting to see as negative as it is.
14 could become 15, could become nothing. Let's just see.
It's going to be a fun few weeks. But another player that's been linked to another club is old shark, Jaden Brailey. Cowboys need a hooker. Reece Robson is off to the Roosters next year. They were linked with Brailey and Tyson Smoothie, who has since signed with Wakefield, I believe, in the Super League. Brailey's been on the out for Newcastle for, 8, 9, 10, might even be 12 months now. Good fit for the Cows?
Look, he's a worker. And I think that's what the Cowboys pride their pack on is workers. You saw them. They've run the oil out of Jason Taumalolo's legs. They're going to do the same thing to Reuben Cotter. Look, sure. I'm not a big fan of Jaden Brailey. To be fair, I'm not a big fan of Blake Brailey either, but he's getting better. Whatever. I just think that for whatever reason it is, Newcastle made Jaden Brailey captain and now they hate him. That's no one else's fault but theirs. If they wanted him gone, they should have let him go to Parramatta. Sending him to the tropics now, I don't know. Whatever. It could be the spark in his career that he needs, or maybe he just needs to go to the Super League as well.
I think it's good for Brailey. I think he needs to get out of Newcastle because He's now fallen behind Phoenix Crossland. He was captain. They took that off him. Now it seems to be a, hey, if anyone's here to get you, off you go. Someone's here to get him by the sound of it. I think the Cowboys should make this move, try and get him early and ingrain him in the system before Robson does leave. It's a downgrade because Robson's a current New South Wales, was the incumbent hooker, whereas Brailey's probably a step or two off that.
Reece Robson is the number 2 hooker in the game.
Yeah, pretty much undoubtedly. Hunt, I could hear an argument for part-time, but top 3 tops at worst. They just are the hooking ranks not that good right now.
Well, I mean, you've got Harry Grant. He's the superstar. You've got Reece Robson. He's jumped Api Coruscant. Just age. Father Time's catching Api Coruscant. But Api Coruscant's number 3. I'll hear you Blake Brailey at number 4. Then you're probably looking at someone like Mitch Kenny.
Yeah,
I think we've just taken it for granted that you had Cameron Smith and he was just so good that you were like, yeah, everyone else is okay. And now there isn't that superstar. You're just kind of like, you guys are actually shit.
Yeah, because, I mean, we were talking Wade Egan for Origin last year.
Yeah, Wade Egan. Yeah, I forgot Wade Egan. You probably prop him above Mitch Kenny.
I'm a bash fan of Wade Egan, but if he's playing Origin, you're probably in a little bit of strife. I don't want to bag him too much, but you talk fullbacks right now. I can name 8 superstars, 10 megastar halves. You throw Nicho Hynes in. He's been inconsistent, but on his day, he's a megastar. More on him later. But in terms of the hooking ranks, I look down that, and Damien Cook used to be, but now he's stopping the bloke who I think is the next one, and Jacob Liddell, from progressing. I think they've made a mistake there. You got Sullivan running off the bench as a backup hooker. You got Mama Zealous as a, maybe he's a talent. Who knows? We haven't seen yet. I suppose that's a risk you take. But when you're looking at Brailey as your best option, with the greatest respects to him, that's a fair drop off from Robson. I don't know where else they go.
I am not sure where you can go from here because you can't replace Reece Robson unless you're replacing with Harry Grant.
Completely fair. Now another team. I love these smooth transitions tonight. Who are looking to replace a player, the St. George Illawarra Dragons. They want to sign David Clemmer. They really want to sign David Clemmer. I don't know why. A couple of years ago, that would have been a great thing. Now, not so much. But they can't because Molo wants off the books. They can't find a suitor. They got 30 players, and the NRL said, we're not opening that can of worms and letting you do a 31st. What's going on at the Dragons, mate?
My suspicion is a Queensland team, and I think it's the North Queensland Cowboys got in Francis Molo's ear and said, there's a spot open. We've got some money. Come and play for us. He's gone to the Dragons, said, I don't want to be there. The Dragons said, mate, you've just re-signed. They've probably figured it out that it's some agent and some players like doing the dirty, and he's trying to go to the Cowboys for a bit more money. The Dragons have every right to stand their ground and say, you're either taking on full freight, because we're not paying any of this, you're taking on full freight, or you're giving us a transfer fee. And they have every right to go to the NRL and say, he's leaving us for a pay rise. Because you're not supposed to be able to do that. You're supposed to go dollar for dollar if you're breaking the contract. For the Dragons, like Clemmer's not going anywhere. There aren't a raft of clubs that are fighting for David Clemmer. So the Dragons can literally go to the Tigers and say, when the minute Molo's gone, we'll take him. Right? The minute Francis Molo is gone, we'll take him. And they go to Clemmer and say, this deal's yours. We'll agree to it. The minute he's gone, you come over and you be a Dragon. The thing is, if there starts getting some injuries in round 2 or 3 to front rowers and teams go, oh yeah, David Clemmer's available. But, it's who's going to blink first in this triangle that they have? Are the Dragons going to blink first and let Molo go? Is the other club that wants to get Molo, whether it be the Cowboys or the Dolphins? I have my suspicions the Cowboys. They blink first and pay the transfer fee or give them a young player in return. Or, is everyone just going to come to an agreement and go, Molo's not that good, Clemmer's not that good. Let's just do the merry-go-round.
Never thought I'd say these words, Terry, but I actually feel a little bit bad for the Dragons. I did some research for this, so I wanted to find out the reason why. Evidently, there was an alleged incident with a staff member. How serious that is, I don't know. I don't have anyone on the ground at the Dragons. I don't have any inside information. On the surface of it, it looks like he wants out. He just plain said to them, I'm not coming back. Get rid of me. If a club can't muster up, Molo's got to go back and play, as far as I'm concerned. Or he can say, well, they can go to him and say, hey, here's your release. You don't get anything. Then Clemmer, who's playing New South Wales Cup this weekend, I think for West or Balmain, whoever their feeder club is this year, he's not playing first grade. One, because I think they know he's out the door, and two, he's probably on that precipice of playing New South Wales Cup anyways. I don't know what the Dragons do. Like, if Molo's just sitting at home, it's like me not going to work and them saying, well, you got to keep paying you, I suppose, until you find somewhere else to go. The Dragons should be able to have the right and say, cool, if you're not in here on Monday, see you later, contract's null and void. They got to go that in the NRL, because the way they went and said, we want to do Clemmer, and the NRL have come back and said, we believe you're right. But if you open that can of worms, what's them stopping the Sharks to go and get Jerome Hughes? Go, yeah, but we'll get rid of a player when we can.
Let me ask you a question, idea. What do the Dragons get out of? I know Molo's not turning up, right? Molo's having a big old temper tantrum, and he's throwing his toys out of the cot, and he's not coming back. But what do the Dragons get in return if they just go, oh, you haven't turned up, so here's a release, you get no money, you get nothing? They get, yeah, fair enough, they get David Clemmer. But that's a significant downgrade, right? Francis Molo is better than David Clemmer at this point in time, and they get nothing in return.
Sends a bad message.
Yeah, it sends a bad message that you can just have a temper tantrum and get out of your contract. The Dragons have every right to hold this up, but at the same time, they don't have a roster spot to get Clemmer. They probably weren't banking on Cody Ramsey coming back, if I'm honest, because that's eating up a roster spot for him now. And it's great that Cody Ramsey is back. I'm not putting that in a downward patch at all. But yeah, look, I think the Dragons are well within their right to go to David Clemmer, the Tigers, Clemmer's agent, and say, hold on tight, we'll get you, but we're making sure that we get something. We're making sure that we get something here. We're not getting nothing for something.
Do the Tigers want Molo? Straight swap. I mean, if he
I think he wants to go back to Queensland though.
Yeah.
I tell you what, if he ends up at the Titans, that's a ridiculous move.
Yeah, it is. He wouldn't. He'd be like their fifth best prop. That's all they have. They need some centers. Unless he can play center, who knows? There's so much to play out here. It's interesting, but it sucks in the same term. Yeah, it's funny and it's happened to the Dragons, but it's like, what's to stop a player just from going, I'm not playing anymore. See you later. I'm going to sit out. It's like a holdout in the NFL. Like, they just sit home. They don't trial. You got to pay them. You can't not pay them. This needs the NRL to step in and say, wait, Molo, go play or go to North Queensland. I don't know. We'll figure it out. But speaking of the NRL, mate, this was a fun one. Andrew Abdo has gone on a podcast. Can't remember which one. I watched the clip earlier. Shout out to whoever that was. And said, Nathan Cleary, pretty handy player, if I just say so myself. If you were to go to New Guinea, you'd make an extra $4 million because there's no taxes over there. And it's closer to Mary Fowler. Seems to me like the NRL not only want but need a player of Cleary's ilk to go to New Guinea, or else we'll be talking about this for years like we were the Dolphins, times 10.
Yeah. People are turning around, like Penrith fans are obviously up in arms going, why is the CEO commenting on it? Because the CEO, he can do whatever he wants.
Agreed.
Right? Like, he literally runs the organisation. And if so, and it's like, it's a clickbait, right? It's not clickbait, it's a clickbait. The question was asked to him, who is the biggest name player that could go to Papua New Guinea? And he said, obviously, it's Nathan Cleary. Mm-hmm. He could have said anyone. If you turn around and if he'd said, oh, Nicho Hynes, everyone would turn around and say, oh, well, that's not a big name player, is it? He was shocking on the weekend. Yeah, it's whatever, right? Nathan Cleary's never going to go there. Like, just move on. Just get rid of it. Just don't even worry about Papua New Guinea. Just move on from it.
Exactly. They need to throw something at a player like Cleary, though, and say, hey, we'll give you 6 houses on the side. Or because if New Guinea run out with a team that doesn't have, if they're full of like the Kay Dykes and the Phoenix Crosslands or the Jaden Brailey or whatever, or Super League players that have come across, they're going to be an absolute joke of a team, and that'll stop them from ever signing players. They need Abdo to drive a literal truckload of cash to Nathan Cleary and say, wait, if you don't want it, hey, Iongi, Parra, you're playing pretty well. How about you? Well, they need to start. They need to start.
You know what? If they want to get Nathan Cleary there, they've just got to give him the country. It's yours.
Hey, well, isn't Mary Fowler's background
I don't know. I haven't looked too much into it because it's just it's a fantasy land at the moment.
And what you said before really resonates. It was just something that he said. He's not saying, well, we're going to ensure Cleary goes.
Yeah.
But it made me think the NRL really needs a star to go there. Let's start the sell now, 5 years or whatever it is before. So, Penrith fans, calm down. You've had a pretty good run. If Cleary does go, I believe it'll be the Super League at the end of his career, probably after 10 straight finals. So, shush, you've had enough. On to a player that doesn't get anywhere near the plaudits he needs. There's a lightning rod for controversy. I'm sick of it. Nicho Hynes, Terry. I've seen Scott Sattler come out today and say he should move to lock. He should be a ball-playing lock like Isaiah Yeo. We've seen Brian Fletcher come out and say he should be on the bench. We've seen Sharks fans saying he should be fullback. He should be this. He should be that. People should calm down, stop being lazy, and making Nicho the scapegoat for absolutely everything.
It's round one. We lost to the reigning premiers by 6 points. Right? It's not as if we played against who came last year, the Tigers, or second last, the Rabbitohs. It's not as if we went to Vegas in round one and got spanked by 40 to one of those teams, right? Nicho Hynes is actually pretty good. If you watch the game and you don't go and check the stats and your fantasy stats, he actually had a pretty good game. He put Ueli over for a try. The only problem was Ueli knocked the ball on. He put McInnes through a gap. The only problem was we had no support play. He put Ramian through a gap right at the end. The only problem was it's Penrith. And he put Sam Stonestreet away on a 4-on-3 on the short side, and there's no support play. So he's actually pretty bloody good, right? He was good. He did his job. Was he over? Was Braden Trindle better than him? Yes. Trindle was better than him. Trindle was one of our 3 best players on the weekend. That's going to happen from time to time. You know what's going to happen against North Queensland? Hynes probably going to get man of the match. We're going to forget about it. And then we'll go and play somewhere else, and Trindle will be better. And they'll be like, oh, it would be better if we put Nicho Hynes on the right wing. Like, just shut up. Leave him alone. It's round one. If we're in the same spot in round 21 and it's just not working, sure, hit me up. Round one, not even worried about it. Next.
It's worth talking. I want to get this on camera because this will go on the website. This is a bloke who came into a pretty ordinary Sharks team.
Mm-hmm.
Dragged them
Missed the finals.
Into the finals, won a Dally M. Missed the first few weeks of the next season. Cronulla were okay, not great. Came back, they looked like world beaters. Played Origin, got injured. Confidence went down the track. Last year, he was sitting second in the Dally M despite missing weeks to, I think, Dylan Edwards at the time. Got injured, got picked for Origin, got destroyed on the Origin stage, got made scapegoat, wasn't the same player. People need to stop with this short memory stuff. I go back again, I'm going to mention this every time I can to everyone who will listen. Last year, I got told that Matt Burton was the Iceman and Nicho Hynes was a choker. The game where they met, in fact, this is where it all started. Matt Burton missed 3 field goals, Nicho missed 1. Now, Nicho should have kicked that field goal 11 times out of 10, but Matt Burton got 3 more opportunities because his team were playing better on the night to kick that field goal. If Nicho Hynes has a second go, maybe he gets it with less than half the opportunities it took Burton. People are lazy. They look at Supercoach stats. They look at assists. They don't look at, the running stats. Nicho ran the ball. He kicked the ball well. He tackled well. He wasn't caught out of position. He didn't do anything stupid. He didn't give away any dumb penalties, etc., etc. They just look at the Supercoach and go, Trindle got more points than him. He must have been terrible. He needs to play lock this weekend. Even though he's never even dreamed of playing that in a million years, Cronulla have got 3 or 4 locks in the way. It's just lazy clickbait nonsense, Terry. I'm the king of outrage tweeting. I love tweeting. Earlier I put that Jake Trbojevic getting paid the same as Adam Fanua-Blake, and Cronulla used the cap. That's a joke. That is designed to get people to come in and say dumb stuff and reply. That's what these guys are doing, but they 100% mean it. I guarantee if we go to the Cowboys and Nicho has 4 try assists and we beat him 40-10, he misses 1 tackle and they score, all the Facebook groups, Nicho can't defend. What's he in first grade? He should be at fullback. We need to defend. It's lazy and it's nonsense. There were 4 worse players than him that I can think of from Cronulla's left side alone than Nicho Hynes. So please, let's just give this guy a rest for a couple of weeks. He's not playing lock. He's not playing fullback. He's a halfback, 5'8", whatever. I don't care about the numbers. He's Cronulla's number 1. We haven't missed the finals with him. He's got a Dally M. Just shut up. Let's move on to something more positive, mate. Teamless Tuesday has dropped a couple of days as we're recording this. Few shocks, mainly at the Broncos. Anything stand out to you or round 1, who cares?
I've completely missed Teamless Tuesday. I haven't even looked at it. I'm waiting for you to tell me who the shocks are.
So, Sharp being named at 6,
We knew that was coming.
I thought it was a smoke screen when it happened. I'm really glad that happened.
Yep.
That was what I wrote here, but I'm in favour of that one. Young Duffy for the Cowboys, another one that we saw coming that I'm really happy.
Yep.
I didn't think he'd pull that trigger in round one.
Well, because Clifford's injured.
Yeah, but there were other options, and I'm like, oh, he's going to go something safe. This is going to suck. That was it. But the Broncos have named Shibasaki, Gosewski. They put Pierre Kura, despite saying he's the future of the club, on the bench. I think that's a kick up the backside just between us to say, oh, this Manly guy who, played a bit of Blacktown or whoever it was last year, I legitimately can't remember if that's even true. And Shibasaki's going to play in the centres. Jesse Arthurs isn't going to move in. I think there's some early match mind games because obviously it's Katoni Staggs if he's fit. There's a fair few players I would have picked, probably you and me, before Shibasaki if I'm being legit in the preseason. He's a pretty handy player. It's good for Supercoach, but I think it's a bit of a kick up the old butt for a couple of other players.
Yeah, look, Matt Shibasaki's been around for a fair while now. He's not going to let you down, but he's not going to do anything insane, right? In saying that, he's got two pretty handy halves who are going to create opportunities for him. So he might score a try too. He'll defend okay. I think, again, the same as Jake Gachowski. He's reliable. Would I have started him? Probably not. Put him on the bench. Maguire, look, you're going to find out what the minerals are. Like, I was having a chat with someone recently about it. He walked into a pretty handy South team and won a competition. And fair play to him. He's been really ordinary outside of that. In Origin, he looked really good because, look, let's just face it, he replaced Laurie Daly. He replaced Brad Fittler, who's an idiot. So all he had to do was come in and pick 17 humans who can actually speak, and he was doing a great job. But he doesn't have the whole talent pool to pick from. He's got 30 players to pick from. He's just picked what he can. So he's either going to look like a genius or an idiot. I think he's going to look like a genius at the end of round one. I think Brisbane are going to win and win well.
Yeah, I think they'll beat the Roosters. It's funny though, because I go back to last week where we saw Luke.
Can you believe they picked Chad Townsend?
Well, I celebrated. I was hoping they would, and it came to pass purely because they have to. Connor may move into the 6 with someone else at 9. I don't know. There's a few rumours going around there. But I go back to last week where Luke Metcalf was named at 7. And that was, that's interesting. And now we're talking about, Luke Metcalf can't play football. Where 2 weeks ago, I was like, geez, Metcalf looks a real option. Because they swapped his sides and they changed his spot on a week or a week and a half's notice. Tamari Martin, he's playing New South Wales Cup, so he can't have been that injured. So either that was a message you kick up the bum or he just wasn't right for that Vegas trip. We saw Brian Toto not named. He's doing backflips on the stage and then everyone's saying, oh, how's that hammy? Was that a moment of, he's doing backflips, Terry? I think coaches are a little bit too smart for themselves in round one.
Whatever.
Let's talk about the big one now. The decision was taken out due to a suspension, and I think Wayne Bennett's going to come out smelling roses. Was young Jamie Humphries has been named at 7 for the Bunnies. Lewis Dodd has come across from St Helens, I believe. A pretty handy player, not bad. Wasn't a Wayne Bennett signing. I don't want to wish anyone negativity, but I think him being suspended is a good thing because I think Humphries is a better option at 7. I don't think Dodd gets his spot back, and I think he's back in England before the end of the year.
Can I be really honest here? They're both crap.
Yeah, but who's less bad?
I don't know. Lewis Dodd was signed because he kicked a field goal against Penrith. The period point blank. That's the only reason why he was signed. And then he was dropped. He was literally dropped. So, I don't know, Humphries is a hooker.
Yeah, I like him at 7.
Yeah, look, sure. I hope they play either of them at 7 all year because the Souths aren't going to win that many games. So, they're both, in all honesty here, this is me being really honest and speaking from the heart. They're both crap.
I'm a little bit more positive on Humphries. I like what I saw in him at Manly, and when South signed him, I'm like, That's the guy.
You liked what you saw from him at Manly because he played number 9.
Yeah, but there's plenty of talent there, and he's got some 7 in his.
He played number 9, Daniel.
It's not like he's a lifelong rusted-on hooker. He's played a lot of 7 for Blacktown. He's a pretty good talent. We saw heaps of brilliance, dare I say, in the trials. I think you're being very negative, mate. Now, don't get me wrong. I do love it, but I think Dodd was assigning.
What were South's results in the trials?
Mate, performances matter, not results. Your words, not mine. I think they lost both by what you're doing. But Humphries only played 1 game at 7, and they look much better with him there in the Charity Shield.
The Charity Shield where the Rabbitohs were up 34 points to 0 or 10 or something?
The Dragons were up. Yeah, and then Humphries came on and got it close. That's what I'm saying. The guy, hey, look, I'm willing to go on record.
Humphries came on when the Dragons put all their New South Wales Cup players on.
Not entirely true. His first try assist was against the full-timers. I'm going to put my neck out for the first time this year and say I think Humphries has a really, really good game this weekend.
Sure. Hey everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of the Knock On Podcast, brought to you by the good people at Zero Time. We've got the best independent journalists. It is the one-stop shop for everything that you need in rugby league. News, transfers, the 20-1, your thoughts at the end of the game. You've also got Dan, who thinks New South Wales Cup players are going to go pretty good in the NRL at number 7. So, what do you got for us this week, Dan?
Well, after being so positive all night, I'm dropping a Roosters hit piece in the morning. The one I promised last week. I've framed it a little bit more positively. I didn't want to just come out and say they're hopeless and burn the place.
They are hopeless.
The rebuild is on. It's going to be a slow rebuild, so make sure you get on. And Roosters fans, share it far and wide. Come at me. I don't care. I'm willing to bet any as Cronulla finished on top. And anyone to take that bet, please do. Yeah, look, the rankings are back this week, Terry. I know they're your favourites. I know they are gospel. I have some people that message me and say, look, this is what I would have done. I have other people that tell me they're pointless. I have other people that say, I look forward to your rankings. And when they're late, I get annoyed. I prefer to focus on the positivity this week. I think Humphries has a good one. I think Souths win, just to annoy you, Terry. And here on the podcast next week, I will be celebrating Jamie Humphries.